On tonight's show, we go back to Route 66 and continue our road trip series and end it at the Santa Monica Pier in Los Angeles as we continue on historic Route 66. Next on America's #1 road trip television show, it's Jan Scott Tonight. Where are you?
I'm the one over on the end.
On the right, yeah.
Grew up in a sod house is what the land, a lot of them, you know, before they built their homes and all, they lived in the sod houses, is what they called them.
Did you grow up in a sod house?
I was about 7 years old, I'd say, and it was part dirt, and it was underground, part of it, and then part of it was above ground in Oklahoma.
How did you come to Truxton?
My in-laws were here, and they were running a bar, and needed help. And so my husband and I came here to help them. And then later, while there was a service station across the street, which I have the bar in now, and we were there. And then the lady this place at the Frontier, she wanted to sell it to us. And then I'd been to Las Vegas and been told that this would be a good thing for me to do.
Would you win a lot of money in Las Vegas?
No,
or what?
There was a guy a fortune teller, told my fortune.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that there's going to be a place that'll come up for sale and buy it.
Wait a minute, you saw a fortune teller in Las Vegas?
It wasn't actually...
Was it a palm reader?
Well, what we were doing, there was just a bunch of us having some fun. My husband had went over there, and he had a horse, and we took it over there to have it bred in Las Vegas, and so...
Can you read palms?
No.
No, because
not really, I can't.
Not really, all right.
But anyway, we, even then, that was before Howard Hughes passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And so there was a bunch of us, and we all got together and had a good time in Las Vegas. And this fella just walked up to the lady and I and said, I'd like to tell you a fortune. And so this is what he told me. And here I am.
Here we are talking with Mildred Barker. We're at the Frontier Cafe and Motel in Truxton, which is not far from the Grand Canyon. Beautiful, isolated out here. Only about 100 people live out here.
I was, what I did in Sarah as I grew up, I worked at a 5 and 10 cent store. Yes.
I mean, was the interstate? The interstate was out there, though, wasn't it?
No.
Interstate
See,
40
the
was
interstate did not. They did not complete the interstate till 79. 79 is when they took the traffic, and when they took the traffic over there, it was just really calm. I mean, you know, compared to what we've been used to. Of course, it's calm now because it's
Are you
winter
telling me
time.
that interstate wasn't open through there in the 70s?
No.
Interstate 40. So you had to come through Truxton.
They hadn't completed it. See, they hadn't completed it.
Oh, yeah.
They had done some work, yes, in different parts of it, but they finally completed it to where they took the traffic completely off of this road.
What year was that?
79.
79.
Yeah.
What was it like up until that point?
Oh, we had traffic. You know, there was a lot of traffic through here, just a lot of it.
Really?
And you could hardly. Well, it was a narrow road, and then see, after they took the traffic off here, well, then they kind of widened the shoulders on this road. But it was, well, just like Old Oatman is. Theirs is still narrow.
Now, how do you get a big old truck over Oatman Pass? We're going to go to Oatman tomorrow. You can't.
You can't.
So how do they?
What? No, you can't. The big trucks. No, you can't get those semis. No way.
Scary thought.
Because of the road is so narrow yet. See, they still haven't widened the road in Oatman.
Okay. What else can we talk about? Oh, there are a lot of Indians here. Can you tell us about some of the Indian tribes?
The Indian, we have the Wallapai and the Supai tribe, and of course we're associated with both tribes.
What do you mean by you're both associated with both tribes?
Well, in business, we do business transactions with both tribes.
Do the tribes get along pretty well?
Yes, because a lot of them, they're intermarried now.
Oh, yeah.
And very interesting people. And we do have people that come here to go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
They have these, we're talking about hunting permits and such as that.
Yeah.
And up here on the mantle, they come for elk and the bighorn sheep. And that's real interesting through the years, too.
How many people are in the Indian tribes?
Oh, I think the Wallapais is around 1,500, and this is full blood.
Full blood Wallapais.
And then the Supais, they're less than that. There's less than that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some of them say 500, and
Now, what are they connected? They're not Navajo. I mean, they're connected with what sort of line?
Well, they call them Havasupais is what they call them, Havasupai Indians. But no, they're good people, and they love nature. And
how do they feel about you living here and everybody, the white people living on this occupied land? I mean, this is the West, right? We're not in New York City.
An outsider, they don't consider me an outsider now. I've been here so long.
Yeah.
They consider me as one of them. But just for a new person to come in here, it would take you a while to get acquainted.
So if I showed up with my TV show and said, "Hey, doing a television show," they'd probably look at me and say,
well, you'd probably have to pay some money.
Pay some money, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
Because, from National Geographic's came. Did you see the article in National Geographic's?
What was that?
This was about the route through here, and then they had an article, some on the restaurant and all. But the fellow that took the pictures, they didn't really care too much about him being down on the reservation. They don't care too much about that.
No.
The advertisement and such.
Are there, of course this is their land, they're Native Americans, they've been here a lot longer than we have. Mm-hmm. Are there tribes down inside the Grand Canyon?
Well, the Supai Indian is down in the Grand Canyon. The Supais are on the Colorado River.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they living in the modern 20th century, or are they living back in the 19th century?
No, they're living just like we are. They have new homes, and it's just the same as we do. There's no difference. But they do have their traditions, and they do follow their traditions.
Are there any Indian tribes that are, how can I say it, not lost, like lost Indian tribes or sects of Indian tribes that are living the old ways, in the 19th century or 18th or 17th?
Not as I know of. Mm-hmm. Nearly all of them are modernized. They have their cultures, haven't changed. The culture, and they have they do to a certain extent. Their burial, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But some of them have kind of put that aside too.
66, got any Route 66 stories? Now I want to go back to the 70s when you first got here, when the highway was open. Mm-hmm. Any stories come to mind?
When I first came here, I lived in Peach Springs.
Uh-huh.
And we lived behind the old shell garage in Peach Springs in a little 2-room house.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Indians were more, well, they didn't have their new homes like they have now. They more or less had shacks. And they didn't have many resources of any type either. Well, they had their old wood stoves. They didn't have gas and electricity or any of the modern communities then.
What do they do to make money?
They run cattle on the reservation, and most of them work for BIA, connected with the government.
Bureau of Land...
Indian Affairs.
Land and Indian Affairs, oh yeah. Jewelry, is that big around here or no?
They mostly,
Cottage
theirs is beadwork.
Beadwork.
They do a lot of beadwork. They're not like the Navajos, you know. There's a few of them that does the silversmith, but not too many of them.
So mostly ranching and...
Cattle, it's cattle country. Mm-hmm. And then we do have a lime plant that's out of Peach Springs, which they've had it for years, but it's larger now.
Stories. Like the most interesting or unusual traveling story you can think of, someone that came through on 66 when it was open.
We've had a lot of people. We had Johnny Cash was one of them.
Johnny Cash?
That was when he was real young and when he first started out. And he pawned his guitar in Peach Springs. He was so low on money. And then we had...
Wait a minute. Johnny Cash pawned his guitar
in Peach
Springs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you get to meet him?
Yes.
Did he sing? I mean, did he play here at the cafe?
No, he didn't play here at the cafe. Then I didn't see him anymore until we went over to Las Vegas to the showboat. And then I saw him again then.
All right.
But
who else?
He was one, and then I got to think of the other one here. The colored guy.
Colored guy. Let's
Geraldine. That would play
Geraldine. Yeah, Flip Wilson.
Yeah, Flip. He stopped here.
He stopped at the Cozy Dog. He must be. Hey, Flip, are you a Route 66 fan or what? He must be, huh?
That was before it was really advertised too much.
Yeah.
And he had his 2 sons, and they were going to Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
And he stopped here and ate breakfast. And then we had Johnny Rodriguez. That's when he first started out singing. And I'm trying to think of the other one that I was over at the old station, and that came by too. And I can't think of his name right now.
Got Route 66 Hard Luck Story.
Hard luck. Well, and they come back and they's broke, and maybe we'd have to feed them. One time we had a couple from out of New Mexico, and the fella had a real nice watch, and he said to my husband, of course we had a lot of watches because that was the main thing they always wanted to hawk, And so anyway, we went ahead and gave him money, and he said, I'll send you the money back. And sure enough, they did. And for years, they came back.
Oh, is that right?
The couple would, after that.
Do you have any watches? Like, do you have a box full of watches that you bought from people?
Well, I had a lot of watches, but I've got rid of a lot of things, too. I've been trying to...
How much would you give me for this one right here? Huh?
Well, I'll tell you, it was so many watches.
How much is this one worth?
So many watches.
How much would you get an Iron Man?
I guess if you was desperate, I guess. I always weaken, they say I do. I'm good to everybody, they say. So that's what all of the Indians know that too, you know. They know that I'm a soft touch.
Well, you're a good lady. So people sell their watches. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else you can think of that would be either a hard luck story, an intra-traveling story? I don't know. Hitchhiking girls, people on the people on the run, gangsters? You have any gangsters come through here?
The only time, the closest thing we ever had to anything like that, we had a fellow come in and sat down at the counter.
Yeah.
And he had robbed, and he went on down the way, and the police, came in and they caught him.
Oh, yeah.
Not here, but later on down. He had been in here, and then we had another in the old service station across the street, and this fella had robbed over in Prescott at one of the racetracks, and he had $2 bills. That's what he had. But he came in, and my mother-in-law and I, and he asked us, he said, "Do you have anything I can put this money in?" So really we never thought too much about it. But what he did, he had it in his cap. He just took his cap off.
Oh, yeah.
When he did, the $2 bills flew out. And in the meantime, we found this, we had some kind of a little old gift deal that we gave him. Well, the police, here come the highway patrol. Then we knew something was wrong. Then he run out the back door, and they apprehended him over here in the field. But we had a lot of, little close calls like that, of people. The only thing that actually, we had a lady that came out of Phoenix one time, and her husband worked for the highway department. In some way or another, they had trouble, and she came here and started cooking,
Yeah.
And she stayed here with us about 8 months, and then she went back to Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But we did have different ones. Then we had another lady that cooked for us for quite a few years, and she went over to Prescott, and they had a robbery over there. And in that robbery, the lady lost her mind. There was a fellow brought her back over here and wanted to know if she could recognize me, but she couldn't. It was too much.
So what's the elevation here?
It's 4,200 feet, and it's really, we really have a nice climate. It's a wonderful climate. Sometimes it's windy, but it's on a whole, we have very little bit of snow. Just last year we had 2 small, real light snows.
How about you? Okay, 2-shot. Okay, how about any wild animal stories? You have big bears here, lots of rattlesnakes, or coyotes, or wolves, or wildcats, or anything like that? Ghosts?
There's wildcats up on Music Mountain. There's one right up here on the mantle of one of the Indian boys that they go up there, and then coyotes. They had a season on coyotes. We had those. And then one year we had a bear that just about 2 miles down the road, where a cattle chute where they bring the cattle in, they had a bear. And that's unusual. That's the first one we've had this close.
No, wait a minute. I want to know. You got to tell me this again. Say, an Indian boy up on the hill has a wildcat?
He killed.
Oh, he killed one.
The one that he's one of the Indian boys from Peach Springs, and in fact, he's done this. That's what he is regular hunter, and a guide for the people that come on the reservation. He's an Indian guide.
Are wildcats dangerous? Or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They can be, I guess, huh?
Yeah, they can.
You ever have any come around here?
No, not usually. Like this bear, that's unusual, because usually they don't come down this close, where there's people.
Okay, let's see. Anything else? I'll leave you alone here in a minute. Any ghost stories? You have any, are there any phantom trucks that come through that out of the 1940s, or some places, like is it Eric, Oklahoma? They say they've got a police car that shows up out of the 1930s and pulls people over, and they go and tell somebody. They say, "No, we don't have a 1930s police car here," and they say it's an old police officer's car. Do you have any kind
Maybe
of...
that's Roger Miller coming back.
Could be.
That was his hometown. That was his hometown.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I knew Roger Miller, too.
You knew Roger Miller? Okay, you got any Roger Miller stories?
No, but I knew him when he was a young fella. Actually not. We had a lot through here. A lot of the Indians were killed when the traffic was bad.
Oh.
And the Indians always, every once in a while, there'd be a little something on the door, and look up, and they'd say, "That's the Squeeby-Dees coming."
The what now?
Squeeby-Dees.
What's Squeeby-Dees?
That would be your ghost. Yes. And you'd look up at the door, and it would kind of look funny, you know, like when one of them had been run over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much. You've been a great host. Nice to. We're here in Truxton at the Frontier Cafe. Fire in the background. This place is literally out of the 50s. It was old America. Lost, but it's still here if you get off the interstate and travel on Route 66. Huh.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. All right.
And we're always glad to see travelers. Always glad to see people.
Okay, Raj. Thank
I
you.
just got mixed up. I was actually
Your dad fought in the Civil War. Your foster.
no, that was my grandfather. That was Grandpa Wiley.
Did you know him?
No,
No.
I didn't meet my grandpa. But he fought in the Battle of Pea Ridge, Arkansas. Pea Ridge.
Uh-huh.
And but all I know is, you know, what my foster daddy told me.
Mm-hmm.
And everything.
Now, how old are you?
Well, actually, June 2nd,
Mm-hmm.
1925.
1925.
But my foster parents, they didn't have any record, and so they gave me June 23rd, 1926. So that's how old.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I get it. That would make sense. Your grandfather would have fought in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
In Pea Ridge, Arkansas.
Pea Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have had relatives that fought in that war. On the northern side.
Yeah. Well, you know, used to, they were so opposed to,
Mm-hmm.
well, they fought the war for years, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And, but whenever my dad would hear the songs, the old songs, tears would go down his cheeks.
Do you
even-
sing?
I used to a little bit, but I don't anymore.
What kind of songs did you sing?
Oh, I used to sing all kinds of songs, but I don't sing anymore. My voice has left me.
Has it? Could you sing a little song like one of your...
Sorry,
No, huh?
No.
Come
I
on, just
should.
like one bar. Maybe one line of one song that might have been a favorite that no one would know.
No, I can't
Did you?
sing.
Okay, did you sing country swing or big band songs or
No, it was
revival
country.
songs?
It was church or you know, country.
Gospel songs.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Country songs. All right.
Different foods on the mules. And Perry was calling me. He's the one that's over here now in the room. And he's not too good of health, so I sort of felt sorry for him. And I just put him over here in a room because, well, now see, some of the Indians, I know over there in New Mexico when we lived in one Indian Pueblo, they'll let different Indian tribes live in some of their houses if they have a vacancy. Well, they didn't have any for Perry, so I just put him over here in a room until they can find something, you know.
Now, you say it was one of your husband's packers. What do you mean by that?
Well, he came out of the canyon, and what they would do is that they would have this mule train or horse train, and then they would tie the mail on them, and then they take them down into the canyon.
Oh.
That was before they had the helicopters to fly a lot of things down. Now they have a helicopter, and they fly a lot of their things down to the
Your
canyon.
husband was he was a mailman here in Truxton, and he died in 1990.
1990, latter part of April in 1990.
Now what did he do? What was his name?
Ray Barker.
Ray Barker.
And of course, we had the service station and the old motel across the street, and then when we came over here and purchased this, then he took up cooking, which he had never done in his life, but he took that up. And of course I had a little background because my foster mother, she had when at Sayre she had cooked.
Oh yeah.
And of course from
so your husband delivered mail by mule into
Supai.
Into the Supai tribe in the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon, yes. Yes. And so a lot of them have a lot of respect, you know, for me, you know, because of that.
Oh yeah.
On Route 66, but don't shy away. They're very nice. Oh, I'm just about to see you. Travelers from Route 66.
From the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands, I know. You'll probably never see this, but you never know, you might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breakfast. Did you work in that big dam?
The second stage. The second stage is where you put the turbines, you know, and the generators in. See, at that time, our skilled labor in this country was very poor and scarce. See, to drive the tunnels over there, they had to send to Sweden. Frank Cole come from Sweden over here to drive a tunnel. See, that was started way back in the early 20s. Sir?
How long have you lived on 66?
I come over here from Los Alamos in 57.
57.
Yeah. I've been there off and on for another 40 years.
What'd you do in 66? What was 66 like in 57?
Oh, did you ever hear of the atom bomb and the Manhattan Project?
Oh, yeah. You worked on that? Got here. This old highway.
Oh. Sir, the first time I ever came on this road, I had a Model A Ford.
Is that right?
Yeah. And it was a dirt road.
Dirt road.
Yeah. It wasn't blacktop like it is now.
How fast could you drive a Model A Ford out here?
Oh, about 30, 35 miles an hour.
Well, thank you.
See, the 30th this month, I'm going to be 91 years old. And I'm an Irish Indian. My mother was Irish, my dad was a Cherokee Indian. And me, I don't know what I am. I don't know I don't know which is which. I'm just a person.
Yeah.
That's all I know. The only thing I can think of is if somebody wanted to kill themselves, when I come over here, my brother had a garage and a place up at Peach Springs, and the Santa Fe Railroad owned the land, but he owned the building. And we had the record business here from Sligman to Kingman. And if somebody wanted to kill themselves, I think, in the whole United States, I think this is where they come to do it. And I've seen the bloodiest car wrecks that God ever created. I don't know if God did it or who did it, but at one time, me and my nephew took two wreckers and pulled two cars apart and hit head on. There was 6 dead in each car. 6. They were from Albuquerque in New Mexico, Spanish people. And the others, there was a sawmill up there at Big Springs, and there was the black people from Louisiana come there to run that sawmill and work on it because they were skilled at 6 years old. And there was one alive in each car, and the rest of them was all done dead.
What year was this?
Boom! I don't know. Way back yonder.
Way back yonder?
Say, you take 40 years. Well, I finally got so sick of that I got to buying me a new motorhome and heading east, go somewhere where I hadn't been and put sense into that.